wears short shorts, I wear short shorts. But enough about that, let's talk about Jersey Boys at Nottingham Royal Concert Hall. Telling the story of the 4 seasons, this musical takes us on a behind-the-scenes tour of the rock and roll band, charting their early success, backstage fallouts and ultimate breakup. The story is presented in 4 parts, each part named after a different season and narrated by a different one of the band members. This means that some sections recount the same time period, but in a different way, as the band members remember things slightly differently. The show opens with Carlo Bermugalbay's Tommy DeVito trying to make it big in a band with friend Nick Massey, played by Lewis Kennedy. They team up with Luke Baker's Frankie Valli and Jared Nerden's Hank Majewski, but despite everyone agreeing that Frankie provides some excellent and unique vocals, they struggle to be taken seriously thanks to some of Hank's more questionable lyrics, particularly the song I Go Ape, which sees Hank don a monkey mask. So Hank is out of the band and young lyricist Bob Gaudio, played by Toby Miles, is brought in instead, completing the famous 4 seasons lineup. Bermugalbay is perhaps the most likeable of the 4, but it helps that as an audience we get an insight into Tommy's backstory first, with Bermugalbay narrating the opening spring section. In terms of vocals, Miles as Bob Gaudio gives some of the best performances in the opening act, particularly in number Cry For Me, when Tommy first spots Gaudio's talent. At times, Baker seems to struggle a little with hitting the falsetto notes that Valli is known for. It can occasionally feel a little bit strained. Baker performs better in later numbers that don't require him to hit such high notes. His performance of Can't Take My Eyes Off You is one of the strongest of the evening and earns him a lengthy round of applause from the audience. The second half of the show sees things start to crumble for the 4 seasons as Tommy racks up debt and is forced out of the band by Frankie. Nick Massey takes centre stage after being sidelined for most of the opening act, but the narration gives Kennedy very little to work with, and we struggle to get a true sense of who Nick is. He talks about having a family but we never see them, and when Nick makes a decision to leave the band, it's treated as a quick gag and the reasons are never properly explored. Elsewhere, we get a better look at Frankie's personal life, with scenes focusing on his relationship with first wife Mary Delgado, played by Sydney Hocknell, and daughter Francine, played by Artemis Chrysolarkis. But these aspects are introduced too late in the show for them to have much impact. The musical struggles in its story and characters, which feels a confusing mix of too complicated and too threadbare, mainly owing to the fact that the show tries to tell 4 individual stories in just 2.5 hours, which means there's lots going on, but nothing is afforded enough time to be explored properly. In spite of this, the musical performances are lively and bold, and the costumes and songs will prove to be a hit of nostalgia for older theatre goers. 3 stars from me, but what do you think? Jersey Boys plays at Nottingham Royal Concert Hall until 4th July. For more rapid reviews, give me a follow, and for more in-depth analysis, visit brokenlegsblog.co.uk.